The All Elite Podcast. Covering all the latest news and results from the AEW.
Wait a minute. Sean Spears? Oh my God! Spears with a chair shot right to the side of the head of Cody.
This is pro wrestling analysis as you've never heard before.
Deathly Hallows!
Might be it.
1, 2, 3, Kasabian!
Coming to you every single week. So without any further delay, let's go all in and get the show started right now.
What is up, guys? Welcome to this week's edition of the All Elite Podcast right here on the WWE Podcast. I am your host, Jeff Johnson. Guys, this is going to be a big night for AEW. They're still going live, still going strong, and we have a really good lineup for tonight. We have Santana and Ortiz making their tag team return, taking on the team of Broken Matt Hardy and Kenny Omega. We have Brodie Lee, the current holder of the AEW title belt, not the champion, but the current holder of the belt, taking on Christopher Daniels from SCU, which this has been a match that's been brewing for a long time, with the rumors of Christopher Daniels being the exalted one of the Dark Order. So that's going to be a really good match. Brodie Lee is the current number one contender for the AEW World Championship. We're getting a tag team match pitting two of the top babyface tag teams in the company, with the Red Hot Best Friends taking on Jurassic Express, which personally for me is going to be an awesome match because this is probably my two favorite tag teams in all of AEW. Throw the Young Bucks up there as well, but Best Friends, Jurassic Express, definitely two of my favorites. We get the return of MJF. He's going to be in action. We're getting Chris Jericho taking on Pineapple Pete, which is going to be a pretty awesome match. Pineapple Pete is very impressive. You probably know him as Shug D on AEW Dark. He's had to make a couple appearances on there, and of course he's been in the crowd over the last couple of weeks too. And then we get a big women's four-way match pitting Britt Baker versus Penelope Ford versus Hikaru Shida versus Chris Statlander. And this match more than likely is going to determine the number one contender for Nyla Rose's AEW Women's Championship. That's a big match. And also, Tony Khan has said that there will be a huge announcement, which he said, quote, is the biggest announcement ever regarding Double or Nothing. So, not sure what that's going to be. They've been very quiet about it. I have a couple of opinions, but I don't know for sure exactly what that's going to be. If I had a guess, I would say that they're going to have a limited crowd, which would be awesome. A couple of sports overseas have been kind of trying that out with social distancing with fans in the crowd. So I think it's possible. Maybe we get something like that. But definitely not sure what's going on. It could be something completely different. But Tony Khan and AEW are making a big announcement, which this is a week of big announcements because, we got the big announcement on Monday Night Raw with Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins expecting their first child. Big shout out. Congratulations to the two of them. And NXT General Manager William Regal announced that there's going to be a big announcement on their show. So make sure you guys check out the breakdown of NXT here on the WWE Podcast as well. It's another great show, another great listen. So make sure you guys check it out. Before we get started, though, guys, make sure you guys subscribe to the WWE Podcast on all of your podcasting platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, wherever you guys get your podcasts. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. And for you guys on Apple Podcasts, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. Let us know how the show is, all the shows here on the network, what you guys like, what you dislike. But you know what? Leave a review, leave a star rating, because that's what helps us out. That's what helps us grow. So make sure you guys do that. And without further ado, guys, let's get into this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. So we open up Dynamite this week with the arrival of the Murder Hawk, Lance Archer and Jake the Snake Roberts. As usual, Archer's bringing out somebody from the back and laying him out to kind of make a statement like he does every week. Jake gets in the ring, starts cutting a promo towards Brandy Rhodes, saying that he's supposed to come out there to make an apology, but he'll only do that when she kisses his you-know-what. So, typical Jake Roberts heel promo here, it was very, very good as usual. But, as the guys are talking, they get cut off by some kind of revving of an engine, and the camera pans out to see Cody Rhodes driving up his big I think it's a 350, big Ford truck. He drives it into the arena, jumps out, and we get a short brawl between Cody and Lance Archer. They get into the ring, and neither guy really gets the advantage. Archer does try to hit his blackout finisher. Cody gets out of it, and then they kind of scramble different directions. So, a nice little nice little quick opening to the show, a little bit of physicality, just kind of get everybody a taste of what's to come with this rivalry between these two guys. It's gotten very personal after what Jake did last week to Brandy, and with them coming in and targeting Cody right off the bat, talking about Archer and Roberts. So this is going to be one of the top feuds for the next few weeks heading into Double or Nothing. And it's a good one. It's personal. It's for the first ever TNT champion. So a lot riding on this feud for sure. And, I don't know if it's going to be the main event Double or Nothing. I think there's a chance that it could be. We're going to be getting some announcements when it comes to the card of Double or Nothing later on in the show. So I'm curious of what they're going to say. And it wouldn't surprise me if this ended up being the main event, not just because Cody's in the main event. I mean, with Cody's in the spot, but just because this has been one of the best feuds going in the company for a little while now. I know we got the AEW World Title match between Jon Moxley and Brodie Lee, but that one's still kind of fresh. It's still, just kind of started last week. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was the TNT Championship match is the match that actually main events. But we'll know more here in the next couple of weeks heading into it. But definitely a good hot opening to Dynamite this week between these two guys. Our first in-ring action of the night is pitting the Best Friends taking on the Jurassic Express. And this is a match that I mentioned earlier I was really looking forward to because I'm a big fan of both of these teams a lot. And this match was a lot of fun. Sometimes the dynamic of two babyface teams against each other can be kind of difficult. And, I guess it is easier to do without a crowd, because sometimes the crowd can be a little quiet when it comes to babyface matches or heel matches. It's a different dynamic. But in this case, it was just two teams in the top of the rankings jockeying for position. And, it's a nice, easy story to tell and makes for a competitive matchup. The match was really back and forth for about the first half of it and kind of trading moves back and forth. They went to commercial. When they came back, the action really picked up, and we saw a nice exchange between Chuck Taylor and Jungle Boy. And Jungle Boy showing a lot of fire and a lot of comeback, and it was a very, very fun last couple of minutes of this match, and it actually broke down quite a bit also. MJF ended up getting involved and attacked Jungle Boy from behind, but the reason he picked that spot is because Orange Cassidy was standing on the stage, and he gets just destroyed with a thrust kick out of nowhere by the returning Rey Fenix. And so really good to see Rey back. I know that he's been talking on Twitter about really looking forward to get back to AEW, and I know Pentagon has as well. Haven't seen Pentagon yet, but hopefully he'll be back sooner than later. But Phoenix and Orange Cassidy have both been named in the casino ladder match coming up at Double or Nothing, and whoever wins that's going to get an automatic title shot for the AEW World Championship. So, starting to build that a little bit. Well, that distraction is what caused MJF to come out and attack Jungle Boy because they have their one-on-one match coming up at Double or Nothing as well. So, a lot of moving pieces in this. Chuck Taylor ended up hitting the Awful Waffle Pile Driver on Jungle Boy to get the victory, and that's becoming one of my favorite finishers. It is brutal. It's kind of like a tilt-a-whirl pile driver in a way. It's pretty awesome. If you guys haven't seen Chucky T do this move, it's very, very impressive. But this was a fun opening match. I really enjoyed it a lot. Like I said, I'm a fan of both of these guys, but the Best Friends continue their role. They get the victory, and they might actually jump the Dark Order for that number one spot because we haven't seen Stu Grayson or Evil Uno in a while, not since the night that the Exalted One debuted. So, I wouldn't be surprised if the Best Friends move up to that number one spot, and maybe we see the Best Friends against Omega and Hangman whenever Hangman comes back. They've done a good job of really pushing the Best Friends and making them a very liable tag team and make them, showing that they have a chance to get those titles off of those guys. So, great tag team match. Very, very good. A very good way to progress a lot of storylines all at once too, because, we're getting close to Double or Nothing. So some stuff has really got to start getting in order, and this match did a good job of it in a bunch of different directions. So definitely recommend this match. Very good hot opening altogether for Dynamite this week. After this, we get right back into the action with our big four-way women's match, putting Penelope Ford versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Chris Statlander versus Hikaru Shida. This match has big implications heading into Double or Nothing to see who's probably going to be the number one contender for Nyla Rose's women's championship match. This match has big implications heading to Double or Nothing to see who's going to be the number one contender for Nyla Rose's Women's Championship. This was a good match, very hard hitting right off the bat. Each lady had some good shining moments. We got a big commercial break throughout most of this, unfortunately, so we didn't really get a whole lot of the match, not as much as I would have liked that we saw. But it was really good for what we did see. The end of it, we saw Hikaru Shida hit Penelope Ford with the running knee, and as this is going on, Britt Baker's got the lockjaw on Chris Statlander on the outside, and it was weird because she had the lockjaw locked in, but she didn't really get up to get in the ring to win the match. She pretty much has focused everything on Statlander, even after the knee when Hikaru Shida got the pinfall on Penelope Ford. I can't talk tonight. My apologies. To get the victory. So looks like they're going to be going with Britt Baker and Chris Statlander with some kind of big feud going forward, which I like because I think both these ladies have really good chemistry together. And Hikaru Shida continues her winning ways. She gets the big victory here. Nyla Rose is in the crowd holding the title up. And they were looking at each other. So it looks like that's the direction we're going. Hikaru Shida, 11 weeks in a row, has been number one in the rankings. So it looks like she's finally going to get her opportunity at Double or Nothing for Nyla Rose. Nothing official yet, but she sits alone at the top, for the number one contendership. That's going to be a great match. I think both these ladies are excellent. I became a big Hikaru Shida fan over the last couple of months for sure. And Nyla Rose I've always been impressed with, and I think she's getting better every single time she's in the ring. We talked about her last week. So that's going to be a good match. And, I really don't know a pick for this one. I could really see it going either way. I know they like Nyla Rose a lot. She has taken some time off, but she's improved immensely. But Hikaru Shida, they've really been pushing hard with all these victories. She's won 10 of 12, something like that, going back to the beginning of the year. So I really like this matchup and the fact that it's gonna happen. And actually, as I'm recording this right now, I've got a pop-up that just happened saying Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida is official for Double or Nothing. So there you go. That match is happening. That's a big one. That's going to be one of the main matches of the card. So great match by all four ladies, especially Hikaru Shida. Congratulations. And it's going to be a big match for her and for Nyla Rose at Double or Nothing. Next up, we got a big tag team match pitting Santana and Ortiz taking on the team of Kenny Omega and the Broken Matt Hardy. This match was awesome, guys. This was one of my favorite tag team matches I've seen in a while. Both these teams really brought it. Glad to see that Santana and Ortiz have not missed a beat since they've been gone due to the pandemic. They came back and they looked like they were just on point this entire match. Santana looks really good. He looks like he's put on some mass and really hit the weights since he's been gone. So good to see him coming back and looking in great shape. I want to point out a couple things though. First off, I'm becoming a huge Ortiz fan every single time that I see him. I think he has got some of the best facial expressions of anybody in the company. The way he sells certain moves and the way he sells himself while he's out there is really impressive. He's a different breed. He's a wild man. I know this comparison's been made before, but Santana Ortiz remind me a lot of the Briscoes in Ring of Honor. Jay and Mark Briscoe, and you guys know which one's which. If you guys can tell by looking at these two guys, they remind me of the Briscoes a lot of personality, very dangerous in the ring, but no, not dangerous in a bad way. They're presumed dangerous, but they're very safe and very good workers. So I became a big fans of both of these guys. And I also want to point out Matt Hardy in this match. I'm not taking anything away from Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega's great pretty much in any match that he's in, but Matt Hardy looks like he hasn't missed a beat either. He's running around the ring. His offense looks really good. He's, doing moves from the top rope. This is the Matt Hardy that we haven't seen in a while. I've been so impressed with him since he came back to AEW. You couldn't tell a whole lot last week during the street fight because it's a street fight. It's a different dynamic than in ring. But this is the match we kind of got to see Matt Hardy at his best and to show that he's still got it. He's still a top tier pro wrestler, and I was so impressed with all four guys in this match. And this was a big win for Kenny and Matt. They ended up getting the victory over Santana and Ortiz. Very, very, back and forth, very hard hitting match. And Matt Hardy ends up hitting a top rope twist of fate on Ortiz to get the victory. So very, very good match, very big win for the Elite guys. They've been laid out quite a bit from the Inner Circle, so it was good to see that they're on top and get a little bit of momentum heading into whatever big clash is coming between all of them pretty soon. The feud between the Inner Circle and the Elite, it's going to come to head very, very soon. Just don't know when exactly that's going to happen, but very good match. This is definitely my match of the night so far. A lot of fun, and just four guys going out there, just put on a good show. It's what you got with this one. So great match and great showing by all four guys. So the action's been very quick moving tonight. We go right into another matchup next, pitting the returning MJF taking on Lee Johnson. And this was just a squash match, for lack of a better term, just a showcase match for MJF, getting him back in the ring, knocking the ring rust off, and just a very dominant showing by him. I don't think Johnson got any offense in this entire match. The announcers were really hyping MJF up a lot, and actually said something I wasn't aware of, that MJF is pretty much undefeated in AEW. He has one loss on his blemish, and it was in a 4-way match where he didn't take the pinfall or the submission in it. So he does have a loss on his record, but he has yet to be pinned or submitted in AEW. So he's definitely one of the harder pushed guys in the company, and for good reason. I mean, he's obviously, in my opinion, the biggest heel in the company, maybe next to Chris Jericho in the Inner Circle. But MJF does a lot of really good stuff, and he's such a good character. He's that heel you love to hate, because he's so genuine with it, and he sticks with it, and he's that old school heel you don't see anymore. And I know that's pretty cliche to talk about when it comes to MJF, but it's true. It's just everything that he does is so on point, and he gets the win after hitting a double underhook shoulder breaker into the Salt of the Earth submission. So I like that combo to target the shoulder and then lock on the arm submission. It's a good transition that works really well for him. So I hope that's something that he sticks with going forward, because it looked really impactful. After the match, he cut a promo, just running down people, doing what MJF does, saying that he was a little stiff in the match and he's getting still getting warmed up and everything. But he did say that when he walked in the building, he saw that Marco Stunt had an open contract for a match, so he signed his name to it. So I'm guessing next week we're going to get MJF taking on Marco Stunt, which MJF is facing Jungle Boy at Double or Nothing. So that'll be a good match next week. I do expect another MJF win. I expect him to win all of his matches heading into the match with Jungle Boy, but that's going to be a really fun match between two young guys that have had some matches together. They have really good chemistry. They work really well together. So that's going to be a really fun match, Double or Nothing. But MJF looked great tonight. Looked like he didn't miss a beat. And everybody's kind of starting to get back in the fold again. It's really good to see. And, like I said, the action's been really quick. We've gotten match after match after match with not really much filler in between. So I kind of expect that for the rest of the show. Very wrestling heavy, which is more great for me. I love pro wrestling. I love the in-ring action. So, it's been a fun show so far. And this match with MJF was no exception. It's good to see him back. Good to see him healthy, and looking forward to him and Jungle Boy Double or Nothing. So up next, we get the biggest match in the career of Pineapple Pete as he goes one-on-one with Le Champion Chris Jericho. This match has been a couple weeks in the making from when Chris Jericho was doing commentary and making comments about Pineapple Pete being in the crowd. And last week, before Jericho's match, Pineapple Pete actually took a swing at him and connected. So that kind of set up tonight's match. And the two guys started off with a face-off. Jericho slapped Pineapple Pete. Pineapple Pete came back, slapped him back, and started taking it to Jericho with some big right hands, tossed him in the corner, hit two big running splashes. But as he went for a third, Jericho caught him with a huge Judas Effect elbow, and that was all she wrote. 1, 2, 3, match over. Quick win for Le Champion Chris Jericho. But the main part of this segment happened afterwards when Jericho cut a promo on the Elite, and he said that it's time to finally put this to bed, that the Elite he's wondering if the Elite's even a thing anymore, because Matt and Nick are sitting at home doing nothing. Hangman's out running around in the woods. If you guys have watched BTE, being the Elite, you guys know exactly what Chris is talking about. but he challenges the Elite to a Stadium Stampede match, which don't know exactly what that is, but Jericho gave a little bit of knowledge and said that it's going to happen in the Jacksonville Jaguars football stadium, which is the background that we saw to end Dynamite after the street fight last week. So I don't know if they're going to put a ring in the middle of the field, and they're going to, all 10 members are going to fight all over the stadium. I don't know exactly how it's going to go, but Jericho made the challenge for Double or Nothing, and after he did, Vanguard 1 shows up, and Jericho asked Vanguard 1 if they accept, and Vanguard 1 showed up, on the screen and said that they accept. So the match is happening and is set for Double or Nothing. Don't know which members of the Elite are going to be a part of it. Obviously, we'll get the return of the Young Bucks. Kenny will probably be in it. Hangman and Matt Hardy, I would guess. And that's probably what the group would be. So that's a huge match. That's probably going to be the main event. We're talking about potentially what the main event's going to be, and my guess is that will be it because it's going to be such a huge match. But that's going to be a good one. That's going to be a wild, wild match from top to bottom. So I'm looking forward to that. After Vanguard 1 accepted, Jericho actually destroyed Vanguard 1 with a baseball bat, and all 5 members of the Inner Circle started stomping on it and just completely destroying it. And Matt Hardy runs out as the Inner Circle bails, and Matt Hardy's just distraught after seeing Vanguard 1 get destroyed. So this is obviously is going to put Matt Hardy over the top. Probably going to see a wilder and crazier Matt Hardy than we already do. It's because, as the announcer said, Vanguard 1's kind of like a child to Matt Hardy. So this was a really good segment. It was very well done. Chris Jericho's still one of the best in the business. Cut a great promo, and now we get this really awesome match to look forward to. And it's going to be wild. For those of you that watched the street fight last week, you guys saw how wild that was. And this match is going to be no different. So I expect this just to be completely out there, especially with 10 guys running around doing that. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to Double or Nothing's really starting to shape up, and it's going to be an amazing show. A couple more matches were announced tonight also, which we'll break into those a little more once we get closer to Double or Nothing, but looks like it's going to be a full great pay-per-view. I'm looking forward to it. And just the cherry on top is going to be the what do they call it? The Stadium Stampede match. It's going to be kind of tough to remember. I have to think of Spring Stampede to remember the name of it. So big time match, big people in it. We're looking forward to it. All right, it is main event time, and we have Christopher Daniels representing SCU taking on the undefeated Exalted One, Mr. Brodie Lee from the Dark Order. And this was a really good match. Brodie Lee dominated about the first half of it, and looked like Christopher Daniels wasn't really going to get any kind of offense in, but Daniels had a good comeback towards the end, hit the angel wings, hit the best moonsault ever, but was only able to get a 1 count on him. So they're really booking Brodie Lee very, very strong. And there ended up being some involvement with the minions of the Dark Order, and the other members of SCU got involved, as did Colt Cabana, to kind of even the sides. But the distraction made it where Brodie Lee was able to hit the discus clothesline and get the victory. So Brodie Lee still undefeated heading into his AEW World Title match at Double or Nothing against the current champion Jon Moxley. This was a good match. This was definitely the longest match that Brodie Lee's had since he's been in AEW, and it showed that that he can go a long time, which isn't surprising because we saw him do the same thing back in WWE when he was Luke Harper also. So he's such a great character now. I've really turned the corner on him. You guys know I've been very critical about Brodie Lee, about his character being a lot like the Vince McMahon, not Vince McMahon character, but Vince McMahon himself. But it looks like they've kind of gotten away from that, and I'm glad they have. He's done all of his talking in the ring, lead by example, winning his matches, and it's really made the Dark Order a formidable group. It's really helped him out a lot, and it's only going to help out even more once Evil Uno and Stu Grayson get back too, when they're a full team. But I'm really impressed with Brodie Lee. He's been great since he got here, and he's done a lot for the Dark Order, because there was a time in Dark Order they were pretty mellow, and people weren't really big fans of them and weren't behind them. But he's done a good job of making them relevant. But afterwards, he gets the title and he's holding it, and Moxley comes out and starts just laying waste to the minions. He gets in the ring and drops one of them, throws him out of the ring. And as he does this, Brodie Lee grabs another minion and tosses him over the top rope back into the ring to Moxley. Moxley hits the paradigm shift as Brodie Lee and 10, I guess his new right-hand man, retreat to the back. So this was cool. It's cool to see the champion come out and kind of lay waste to everybody. The match between Christopher Daniels and Brodie Lee was really good. I thought Daniels looked great in this match. It was good. It was a really good main event. Not super exciting. I mean, it wasn't one of the crazy AEW type matches that we tend to see. It was a little more methodical, but it was a good match though, and I really enjoyed it. I thought Brodie Lee and Christopher Daniels had some really good chemistry together. And afterwards, Moxley cut a promo pretty much saying that he's going to get his title back, and if he has to end Brodie Lee's AEW career before he even gets started, then he'll do that to get his title back, because the title is more than just a piece of metal. So a good little quick promo and intensity shown by Moxley here to end the show. So overall, guys, I thought Dynamite was a really good show. There were some great matches, very wrestling heavy, which I like personally as a in-ring fan. I like stories and stuff like that too, but the in-ring action I thought this week was really, really good. Some big matches were announced for next week. One match in particular I will go ahead and mention is we're getting Rey Fenix taking on Orange Cassidy, and that match has the potential to be something pretty great, because we know how exciting Rey Fenix is, and we also know how charismatic and unorthodox that Orange Cassidy is. So that match is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to watching it and doing not commentary, but doing a breakdown of that match. And a bunch of other stuff going on too, which, like I said, we'll break those down once next week gets here, because some things can change between now and then, especially with the pandemic going on. So, I'll kind of want to wait till the day of the show before breaking down each of the matches. So, it's looking like next week's going to be a great show. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. This was a lot of fun to call and to break down this week. Remember, guys, make sure to subscribe to the WWE Podcast on all your podcasting platforms. Check out all the other shows that are released throughout the week. Everybody does a great job putting together content and putting stuff out there. Anything you guys want to hear about, Raw, SmackDown, a nostalgic trip once a week, NXT, AEW, of course, it's all on there. So make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast. Leave your reviews. Let us know what you guys think. And until next week, guys, I hope you guys have a great one, and I will see you then. Take care.